Tonight, I drove a star in a reasonably priced car, rear-ended in a BMW V12 LMR at the Suzuka circuit, and a one-lap trial in a BMW. Hello and welcome to GT Motorsport. Now, in this episode part, it's gonna be not about like a cheap car stuff or at the very least expensive new cars, but I assume that the other challenge that I have been suggested, or maybe what I thought it was, it could have been probably the modified race car like GT2 or GT3 or touring cars or even the LMPs. But I say that I'd take the LMP for like an acceptance for a challenge though. But I would say like the early LMPs could make sense for the BMW as I say. So while I'm at it, and on a topic here, and what we should suggest before we're moving on is that right now we're gonna review the Kia Ceed. You know, the one that is here. Used to be a part of like star in a reasonably priced car kind of thing though. But now it should be considered as a little bit of an unofficial training car that is virtual enough. But on the other hand note, it should be a little bit of a quick review here, nothing much more. So I'll provide my own opinion based on the performance and how heavy it is. Anyways, let's move on to the Top Gear test track. Pretty bad start though. Now, what I should think about this Kia Ceed, pretty sure back then, unless you modify it to be like a reasonably steerable Kia, is that practically it should be nice as a daily drive car though. While we're at it on this part of this Kia here, is that there is someone that used to be the fastest over here, but it was like all the casual driving and all the nervousness and stuff. But yeah, over Gam Onton and all of that, and then while just like maintaining all the unsatisfactory kind of thing. But even then, the qualification won't help you much though. From like how many times you bump into someone and how many times you gotta look for someone that is at their safety rating that is, well, lower than A or S. Maybe that's what I think it is. For your honesty's sake, on Liana or even this one, ignoring the batch anyway. So aside from that, is that there's usually people who found out that the Suzuki Liana or even the Kia Ceed, this one that I'm currently driving, they always assume that Oversteer is the fastest. But the tip is here is that the slower you look, the more likely you're willing to get the faster time. And honestly, yes, most people would take the F1 driver racing line though, regardless if it's the Liana or anything else. Oh, I made a mistake and pressed shifting down 2 times onto 1. Just keep in mind if you really wish to like drive the Kia Ceed in this track though, that's probably obsolete anyways, and probably someone was willing to buy it for like the testing stuff. As for how heavy it is, aside from the oversteer, it is kinda alright. The ABS is kind of heavy on this one, so course, the force on braking is pretty much made sense to be a car that you can drive in a traffic though. For most kids that obsess over cars and poster, whenever they see this, they think it's disgusting. Well, honestly, I would be the same when I was young, but here I am. I'm enjoying driving the normal ones. Speaking of which, you can say the same for like the BMW M5. That should be like the next one, but it's not a reasonably priced car. It's like a little bit more expensive priced car than the Kia Ceed. If you already own it before and you used to be in the production here. So if you did own one, consider yourself lucky. So I'm pretty glad. Another one on the line here. As for features though, if you own one, well, you can tell me later. It's a little messed up this first turn here. Now, I wonder how's the current day Forza Motorsport currently going with Top Gear though, which sadly gone. And hopefully that they're gonna get used to being there without Top Gear though. Say it was the same with the second Motorsport game though. Now, if the start of reasonably priced car still happens today, and if the show hasn't been cancelled after like the accident compared to like someone else that miraculously survived, then tell me something that they find another reasonably priced car without telling me that they found something that is other than the Kia. Otherwise, find a hatchback. Maybe. The other hatchback that should be better. Maybe a Toyota Corolla 2017. The best hatchback, reasonably priced car, but maybe expensive right now. So who knows what? Now, I'm gonna say this: if you're an F1 driver here, or F1 person in here, or at the very least, I say, if you prefer to say F1 fan. I have to remind myself that apparently that F1 drivers never had a chance to get in a Kia Ceed or any other reasonably priced cars, at least from my experience. I wonder how many F1 drivers just fall off the Kia Ceed though, unlike the Suzuki Liana. If they still take it seriously though. Anyway, last lap and we're gonna be done enough talking here. on that first end of the review, back to the home space. So, what does it give the Kia Ceed? Honestly, it should, for all the lacking of the replay footage, is due to the test drive being different from the free play. I say it's well worth it to like own it, and if it's still maintained to this day. Well, aside from like certain modifications that would say, well, an anti-roll bar though, that or a weight reduction that can just say like make Kia Ceed a little bit better to like oversteer, to some degree. Now, for like this very specific model, it's right now is rare. So if you find like an owner of the original Kia Ceed compared to the owners of the newest Kia Ceed models, well then, lucky you that you managed to find one. Or if you did own one, it's the same thing as always though. Now, what was gonna be the next part? Right. What we're gonna do is that probably gonna look at the World Tour stuff and see if the BMW LMP or LMR, if it's preferred to be capable in certain events where it should make sense. But on the other hand, I have limitations here, is that I have to skip some footage where it doesn't involve BMW LMR. I forgot the number is, but you get the point. Unlike comparing the BMW in this to the newer Forza Motorsport game. So just to be clear, I'm not betraying in the nostalgic community, just that I want to try it out. Which maybe I already said that before, or in like the other time when when this over, or and the rest of it is also over as well. But anyway, I'm gonna cut to the footage where I'm just trying to look for the BMW LMR and just buy it right away. So anyways, moving on. Okay, so this like the older BMWs that you can have for like collectors. M5 1995, no, M3 97. There's a design challenge here. This one's probably the GTX sports car that was already modified like the other time. X5, X6, they're cramped, they're useless compared to Range Rovers though. I mean, every SUV just tries to be like Land Rover and somehow manage to fail. And the only competitor is just Jeep though, because every time any other brands try to make an SUV, they just make it only for road, nothing else. A Z3M Coupe, maybe it's for challenge, but who knows. Z4 design challenge. I'm pretty proud of the community that likes the design stuff, except whatever nonsense that they had to make. Another design challenge. Already own that. That's for a little bit later. A design challenge here for like a celebration or something. Ah, here's the race cars. M3, GT2, GT3. Here it is. BMW V12 LMR, number 15 in 1999. Let me have another better look. Pretty shiny by now. One seater on the right, on the right side here, and this probably a bunch of gearbox that you have to do, that you gotta do whatever. Anyways, buy one. A little bit of showcase here. You're just waiting for me something to say positive, aren't you? Now, what gonna be looking here is the upgrades. I mean, yes, I already seen it from like R1 to X though, but X is still incompatible with everything though, and I had no idea. So right now, what I'm gonna do is make the BMW V12 LMR a little bit better compared to like the very specific tune that you were given in the early LMP races in multiplayer. If you manage to find like someone that just didn't go crazy over it. Zero credit stuff. Very reasonable. You can make the LMR drag right there compared to stock. How about we upgrade the width? Who really wants to ruin the image of the race cars with just a different rim style rather than just the whole genuine rims? This one's just X. This one's X. This one's an X. Not compatible. I wonder what's about like the quick upgrade part here. I already seen it, so I'm sure there's a remaining parts that can go up to like the highest. No new parts. Well then, let's change it for a little bit. It's gonna be a mess. Maybe this one. There is a race intercooler though. Kind of forgot that I was there. Let's just try that one. Engine upgrades. A little annoying. Let's try the other one. X. X. I can't accept I'm X now. You know, I'm sticking with 10,096 though. Now, setup reasons. I'll leave some on the positivity here to steer properly though. Except the cornering part. Because why not? Braking, I'll just leave it. Acceleration here. You know, I'm gonna tell you like is that unless I want to keep it at in between, maybe it should be fine. But only the upgrades and no changes though. Actually, you know what? I think I should leave it at the balance in middle between, unless like there's a complicated track though. Let's look at the benchmark. Yikes. Pretty reasonable. Now, for a little spoiler alert, I didn't check the World Tour here. Yes, really, I didn't check it. So, it's a bit embarrassing here. Right now. Now, yeah, anyway, before we move on to, like, the race part, when I check the World Tour for a second, why don't I, since we already showed you, or I showed you the parts of the Lexus IS350, being at the Top Gear test track in a free play here, you may assume this: why not, and why shouldn't I, instead of like using a test drive in like the free play stuff. So anyways, so what we're gonna do here is that we should wait for BMW V12 LMR for a little bit, and then move on to the Lexus IS350 at the Top Gear test track. Well, it's a little bit messy here, but let's get to the part. Before the lap starts, there's a reminder for the missing camera shots due to the test drive replay footage being missing. Oh, right. Hot lap, test drive, hot lap, test drive. Should know the difference, but the difference here is no upgrades and one with upgrades. My apologies, viewers. You may thought that Kia C would be in replay, but I forgot about that. Anyway, moving on. A little faster than my ghost. Okay. Anyone's wondering what's the settings on? ESS on, ABS on, normal steering, no lies. This corner sucks. The braking's not good. Right. That should be it about this, a little mistake of a lap time cost on the IS 350. Now, I'm gonna tell you, the first attempt is that I forgot to brake a little bit harder, even though I have ABS on. And second of all, I made too few mistakes that I had to redo the lap again. Aside from like being the dirty lap that is kind of costly, either way. Here's what I got here. 1, 24, 0, 22. That should be the lap time for the Lexus on the Top Gear test track. Anyway, more future lap time should do on the test drive in the daily car, which in actuality I've said it a little bit too late. Now, while we're on that here, we're gonna have a little break from it. And then, well, I say the break, I mean we move on. Let's just exit out here of the viewing part. We're gonna get back into the BMW V12 LMR. We're gonna do like at least 2 races, but here's your warning here. There's gonna be some parts that are rewindable. What this means is that there's gonna be parts that's gonna get skipped due to the rewind. And trust me, if it's messed up, unless I don't care, then well, you can live without it, without rewind though. But other than that, you should be all gone off and fine. And then we're gonna do the first race, and then another, and see up to a result here. And what we're gonna do, we go to the World Tour.
Today, it's back to the sun-baked desert of Arizona for an event at Sedona Raceway Park.
The first race in the 10,906. The first race is in R1 and 1096 is going to be the car LMP1 Tour. Technically speaking, the LMR is an LMP1 according to this, but if you played earlier, it could be the other way around. The optional could be in the Prototype Speed Showdown, but it's showing the class correctly here. And if I put in the X, the problem is that I cannot get through. That's it. The other is just the Incline 4, so I don't know if anyone will care of you, but we should get onto it. The LMP1 Tour. Looking at opponents. Seems like this is my usual rivals here. Nothing much. Status. I'm gonna spoil you here for a part. I still got into a little bit here in this M division here. And for anyone who's really curious about the difficulty, here it was. And yes, I had to put in a little bit proper damage here. Let's just start and make it a little setup here. And I'm gonna like get off the script here, even though I tell it it's not even scripted here. I made a script on my head and then I had to try do it in one take. The thumbnails, it's just emulate issue, okay? But there is a fix for thumbnail. I kind of forgot, but you can like tell later or find later. Is that it does fix it, but the performance is costly. So if you care about performance and without worrying about too much about thumbnails, then don't worry about too much thumbnails. But you can get confused pretty easily if you try to pick which car that you're looking for with a broken thumbnail. Let's just say that I want to look for an Acura. It has a wrong thumbnail, but I just thought it's like a Subaru Impreza WRX X 2005, which really is an Acura NXX. And let's just start off with something else. A very reasonable starting grid here, which, unlike the other time here. And yes, you gotta remind me that I could hire a driver, but I'm used to doing it on my own, so when I could see. Anyways, without further ado, let's just start the race, but there's gonna be like 1 or 2 second cut there, which is pretty unfortunate. Anyways, let's just hold off and then start on.
Today, it's back to the sun-baked desert of Arizona for an event at Sedona Raceway Park.
The first race in the 10,906. The first race is in R1 in 1096. It's going to be the car LMP1 Tour. Technically speaking, the LMR is an LMP1 according to this, but if you played earlier, it could be in the other way around. The optional could be in the Prototype Speed Showdown, but it's showing the class correctly here. And if I put in the X, the problem is that I cannot get through. That's it. The other is just the Incline 4, so I don't know if anyone will care of you, but we should get onto it. The LMP1 Tour. Looking at opponents. Seems like this is my usual rivals here. Nothing much. Status. I'm gonna spoil you here for a part. I still got into a little bit here in this M division here. And for anyone who's really curious about the difficulty, here it was. And yes, I had to put in a little bit proper damage here. Let's just start and make it a little setup here. And I'm gonna like get off the script here, even though I tell it it's not even scripted here. I made a script on my head and then I had to try do it in one take. The thumbnails, it's just emulate issue, okay? But there is a fix for thumbnail. I kind of forgot, but you can like tell later or find later. Is that it does fix it, but the performance is costly. So if you care about performance and without worrying about too much about thumbnails, then don't worry about too much thumbnails. But you can get confused pretty easily if you try to pick which car that you're looking for with a broken thumbnail. Let's just say that I want to look for an Acura. It has a wrong thumbnail, but I just thought it's like a Subaru Impreza WRX X 2005, which really is an Acura NXX. And let's just start off with something else. A very reasonable starting grid here, which, unlike the other time here. And yes, you gotta remind me that I could hire a driver, but I'm used to doing it on my own, so when I could see. Anyways, without further ado, let's just start the race, but there's gonna be like 1 or 2 second cut there, which is pretty unfortunate. Anyways, let's just hold off and then start on. Now, it does feel scary on using an LMP at the fast track. If you get a hang of it, you should be fine. And also, I passed so many of them all. Look at them. I might have a speed down issue here, unfortunately. But thankfully, I can just steer a little bit properly. And yes, I might get off track pretty sooner or later. 8 laps in total. If I made a mistake, that's just all I had. Look at how the BMW is screaming by. Faster than the others. They're gonna pass up anytime soon. I've already shown in the trailer here for the Series 1, but this is all on cornering. Now if you put it on balance, it should work solid. These two are catching up. Esposito and Weber, they're still catching up. 14, 10, 7, still hasn't passed yet. It's gonna be collision. Hello, you. On the line. Perfect. Perfect pass. The acceleration in that LMR is extreme. Oh. That's unfortunate for Weber. And I still got Esposito behind me at 20 to 19 and 16 and 13 meters. He's still after me. Last lap, still holding on the purse. And into the finish. Neat. The next up on the list is the Infinion's Raceway. Now, believe me, I'm still at the level where I can still drive the LMP cars though, or at the very least R1 cars in general, which is, I don't know, if you upgrade your car somewhere around like higher, and then to be able to like compete with the LMP cars, as usual. What I was thinking is that this track can be a little complicated And now for the cost, is that what I meant to handicap myself is I have to handicap myself in some capacity where it's purely cornering. What I've been and some braking here at around 55 and 90, and then keep it at the same here. So the challenge I've been thinking is that due to the NVIDIA and Raceway track layout being a NASCAR, and the fact that you're more likely to risk being spun out, you are giving 250 kilograms on front and for cornering and 437 kilograms on rear. Or if you're an American, you can think about like mathematician. And as for brakings, however, the front will be at 55% and the pressure is around 90%. You should prepare yourself in ABS just in case, unless you're willing to just test the limits, turn off the ABS. Everything else, however, will be the same. And the third race will be on stock. Well, maybe it should be oh, you know what? Grid. Let's give it a go. I look bad for me. There's gonna be a breakfast carnage right now. Oh! Damage is hit. SS. 41% at the front. Oh. %, at both sides. Suspension's gone haywire. Someone's Muller's engine is gone. Or at least damaged from my experience. 63%. It seems like my suspension is damaged. Like everyone's experience, whenever they drive in LMP cars, they're way overconfident than what they usually are compared to like the normal or daily drive cars. Especially when you're just trying to learn how to drive, and then you think that you're better than your supervised driver. Ah, sorry, Rossi, sorry. 100% here. Seems like my left suspension has problems. Whoa! Now the left suspension is turning on itself, and I have a little bit of problem. As for rewind part, being restricted on this race is that I should not rewind. Now I'm at the pretty poor damage assessment now. The damage costly is going to be higher than ever. Careful of the light. You're fine, you're fine, you're fine. I can't turn right now. I can turn but barely. Front suspensions are worse. Final corner. I'll take second. Or maybe. I'll take first then. Okay. Right now, this is the same part. But this time, however, for the sake of, well, stock reasons, this is apart from a little bit of part making part. What I've been thinking is that right now, the tuning is reset back to stock. But the cost is that I cannot rewind. Or, at the very least, only rewind under emergency purposes. Or even one slight mistake is just gonna mess you up, though. Now, of course, I would turn off the rewind, surely, but judging from how much I've done, I say that I'm just gonna leave it for a little bit extra, though. One thing, though, after this race, we're gonna think of something here. We're gonna talk about the other usual stuff, but not usual anymore. Now, BMW, Suzuka circuit, and little bit of a wrong-going mess kind of thing, and it's going to be a little bit damage here. Now, what I'm going to show you about how much that damage it costs is like around 6,656 credits in minus. Well, that's from the last race right there, so that's pretty much a poor part though. And anyway, so moving on now, we're going to get to racing. Last one, yet again. Might be line everyone but this out. Here we go. How bad could it be? Oh, my bad. Die. Die damage. I'm at 6 there so far. I think I should stay in 6 though. It should be fine. Oh, come on. Really? Now I have rear problems right now. Thanks for that. Now I can't even steer properly. Now, looks like the damage has taken the toll. And the rear is the worst offender. I need to keep the rear stable right now. 62% on the rear. And it looks like it's being in a better shape now. Now, when I say I hate drifting, and I prefer grippy cars, this is what I meant. Grippy, but worse. And I just want to finish it. But hopefully, in time, it is still better than nothing. if I did rewind, the part is still inevitable because I'm in a racing line, as the other guys did. And then nothing. Ugh. Poor state, my BMW. Poor state. Alright. That's all the 3 races I could show you about the slightly upgraded BMW V12 LMR. Now, what I think about it, in terms of scoring here. Well, I personally have yet to, but judging from 3 races I've done, minus like a benchmark part. So I want to calculate this based on like amount of points in the result here, and like so far in the performance here. The first race goes is without damage, and no handicap and no rewind is around 10. Now the second race at the Infineon Raceway is around 3. With like a lot of damage I had to assess with, so unlike the last time. And last but not least, it could have been known is the earlier is the third race at the Suzuka circuit. Well, you know what's surprising about the damage at the rear is that it wasn't even that harsh as like 100% though. There's like 256 credits that I have to repair for right now. Very funny. But of course, there's just a minor amount of damage here. So of course, no rewinds and no tuning handicaps. So I'm gonna give it a 6. As for the weight though, I say it's pretty light though. It's kind of neat to have a lighter, grippier weight. But if you're more into cornering, then you have a little problem. So I'm gonna give it a 5 for a weight though. So the tires and everything. As for tires though, and the grip that it can handle, if you're looking to the complicated circuits, it's gonna be around 7. Yes, I'm a little bit harsher here, but I know. Who cares? Appearance-wise, apart from like how light it looks, I think it was like, well, everyone's gonna be obvious, so it's around 9. Give it a little top from how genuine it is and how whatever it is, and I say we're gonna give a little total of this BMW V12 LMR number 15, or 15 BMW V12 LMR. I give it 40, no minuses. Surprisingly enough, because well, you can be harsh at the cheap cars though. Now yes, that's all for the scoring here part. So let's just move on to the talking part. So I got news from here from like the learner permit tests is that I already completed like 3 of the sections on the learner permit. So I had to take like 2 days or more to like do the learner permit test, like at least 27 questions now. But you may assume that I already passed it, but not really though, because well, I have enough time for like 1 year since I've started the learner permit test. So I could say one bit, missed 1 question correct, and it's all gone though. But to be fair, I still had to remember all the correct questions on my head though whenever I wake up and sleep though, and even when going to someone's car as a passenger though, or at the very least knowing the penalty system in the Forza Motorsport 2023. And yes, now for a little bit of behind the scene part is that since I did the learner permit test, I had to like make a stopgap there. So I would love to do the learner permit in time, but I cannot rush it until it actually expires though. Since it's 1 year, doesn't mean you can complete it immediately. So you have to take all the time until it runs out though. I mean, anyone can be worried about the future. There can be a problem that you're gonna get paranoid though. I mean, whether people gonna like do a future fear mongering though, I wouldn't get it at this point. Anyways, the cheat card is mostly done from Gran Turismo part, so I don't know about the Forza part, so yeah, I have a future uses here, but you're gonna say that you can ignore it because most Forza players love fast cars or just slow cars with some upgrades here, but you gotta get the point here, right? Apparently, yes, you should get the point on like what you're about to think. Now, that's gonna be additional parts I have to say about off-topic part, and I was thinking during the Forza Motorsport 2023, I think I noticed that most people were into free play and multiplayer than just career. So after I completed the tour, I decided to ditch it right there and then like move on to like playing multiplayer and free play. It kind of depends on how many people are there though, because I may often play the spec events and sometimes feature events if it features the car like this, especially if you rent one and then like have at least enough credits and have a lot of time to like play like longer events though that hopefully has more than like 2 people though, and probably not lonely as well. And you gotta make sure that you're on time for like the regional lobby service that you have to join in. So and of course, if you don't care about safety rating, then you're probably a little bit screwed though. But safety rating like is very random here, and like if you have like a very high skill level or lowest skill level, your chance of finding more than 2 people is or at least 10 is minimum to none. So you may be lucky like finding 20 people, but you have to play at like peak time. Otherwise, you should play whatever you like. What do people even bother? Like I know people like wants to play like open right now, but there's usually like a lot of people playing in spec events and featured though. Oh, maybe sometimes whatever they're gone off with, but when people don't play multiplayer and Forza Motorsport 2023, even though how obvious it is, I kind of understand it, but it's just intimidating, unlike Mario Kart 8 Deluxe though, where you just hop in and like do whatever, unless you notice the skill rating here getting a little higher and higher. You're pretty screwed though. Now, let's just put a retrospective on the 2023 part, for the update part and the future behind the scenes stuff here on the Forza Motorsport 2023. I already got the training cars on the list here, but I'm gonna spoil it for a little bit for FM 2023. It's gonna be like the 2014 model of a Lexus IS350. That's gonna be like a main training car though, but I ain't gonna say like the car bay is just depends on which one that's mostly focused on. So right now it's the Lexus IS350 the Sport F, and there's gonna be a future episode that's willing to like do this, or maybe the next big series though. Now if you're American, you assume that the series being used as a season meant that it's a whole complete season, not just one season for like whatever. And that unlike the season that was just used in a very specific form, series is just whatever they wanted to make through all and out though. Because series or seasons, well, maybe it depends on how you use it, is that they operate differently. So series is just a TV show, and that means that you gotta take like whatever time that you can make and then release an episode, and then that should be it. As the season, however, it only operates in a very specific season because all they can take is just work. The season has passed. Maybe like the show operates in winter season, for example. We work on winter season, and as soon as it reaches summer, probably stop for a little bit. Now, I had to confuse on the series and season in differentiating. Now, I still use series, and I often work on whatever, and that when the series ends, or at least this series, it kind of means that we're going to like have a hiatus break until I announce like the next series, though. Well, that should be it for a little bit of news here. For a bonus honorable mention, commentary topic update. The name is too long. It doesn't interest people, and nobody cares about it. And unlike me talking about cars and other car stuff or whatever off topic about cars and this here, people are gonna get interested in me talking about cars. While this here BMW, you could just stare at it now anytime you like. Now, what's next here for a different segment? Well, it's not gonna end anytime soon here. So let's just say this: what in one lap trial it meant for a different meaning. Power lap? Apparently, yes. Now, some people say that Henry, as my name, they assume that it was this guy from the evil Mickey, yet in a horror form, a mascot horror form, and then they assume that I was the protagonist. Some people say that my name was probably mismatched and then make it as a weird inspirational kind of thing that's just like associated with a real name and like match it up with the other. Some say that he practiced more often and he still sucks at it. As we may know, it's called the average twin, or just the average if you prefer, but I think the average is still better. Anyways, watch the lap part. No commentary this time. You can make it your own part. Let's just watch it anyways. And here we go. I'm sorry if it's a little bit hypocritical because I had to add commentary due to the fact that I forgot to record it here. Now here comes the straight here since there's the wheel spin from the beginning. There's a turn one here coming through in the test track here. And look at that grip on the BMW here. Alright, so at the next turn here that I easily forget the name. Oh, I know it's a generic name now. Look at that engine sound that screams at there. Back in 24 Hours of Le Mans though. And at the Gambon, that turn seems fine at all. Yeah, it's just, you love the pure silence though. You don't need radio or anything though. Just the noise of engine. And for some reason the camera just decided to screw over though. Oh, there we go. Good line here. It didn't slow down at this part. Up to the next turn, and it seems like it somehow counts as a dirty lap, and that's it. All right, so yeah, that's the lap here. That's a great lap. So now there is no leaderboard, but it's just all my guessing stuff. So it's up to any of you that's willing to make your own leaderboard, if you wish to, for like one lap trial right there, for the sake of like being correct though. Making sure that everything can be accurate though in time. So what we got in this BMW V12 LMR, even though it technically marked as a dirty lap because it has an exclamation mark, so we got 1:02.535. Now, originally it was meant to be like a 103, 067, but I forgot to record it here, but it was somehow like 1 second faster than the previous. It doesn't count as a practice lap, but it's just technically that I forgot to record it. So, my apologies if I have a different plan though. So, yeah, it didn't work out when you have like a featured rival section where you get a prize car and then sell it for another car they can buy though for multiplayer reasons. And that sounds a little bit hypocritical, but as well, and that's perhaps because I want a McLaren MP4 4 and then sell it because I want another GT2 car. Now what we got here in this little bit of a rush news is that practically originally after the recording, which I want to show you a behind the scenes part, and that is within this episode, I was supposed to make another race trial in a different car though. It was like a Bentley Speed 8, but due to the fact that I forgot to like record or film, if you prefer, the BMW V12 LMR more 1 lap trial in the original lap time recording session, I immediately had to stop it out, and then I had to move it up from the ending part. So yeah, my apologies if there's no like tryout part, but it will be in the future episodes where maybe 1 or 2 that is willing to do so in a different car, and it will be like this. But the problem with the Forza Motorsport is that most people gonna like prefer like fast cars, but that's just coming from the Horizon people though. To be fair, I am not innocent of that right now, because you're gonna always drive the race modified cars or production cars or well, prototype cars or whatever you like. So which way you look, it's just up to you. But that's just the theory that some are more like friendly to challenges than just the other, because this can technically work in any challenges, but I had to think wisely. Ow. Excuse my throat here. And on that terrible disappointment, but on that alarm clock, I think it's time to get back to the bed. Anyways, take care. Good night.